Hi everyone, this is Archangeli. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks for tuning in again. If you watched the shopping haul video that I posted a few days ago, you'll know that when I was at the Smart Doll store in Tokyo, I built Crimson for my friend Talon. And today I'm going to chat about Crimson, I'm going to talk about that workshop experience, and just, I don't know, some general chatter. So a bit about my own doll collection. One day I'll get back to my doll diaries for you all. I own several ball jointed resin dolls, and that's kind of how I got into the doll collecting as well. And I own specifically two boys. I have Volk's Yukinojo in both the SD16 from a long time ago and the re-release in the SD GOU body from a few years back. And one day I'll explain how I ended up with two of the same sculpt. But I love that face so much that I really don't mind owning two. The funny thing is that as someone that collects resin male dolls, there's so many options out there, whether we're talking about Volks or Zoom or Dream of Doll or indie brands from the US and China and Korea. There's so many companies that make beautiful resin dolls with wonderful face-ups and wonderful customizations that there really is a whole ocean of choice. But if you're interested in a more anime aesthetic, there really isn't a lot of choice. So Volks has released Kirito from Sword Art Online, and they've released Len from he's one of the Hatsune Miku twins, and they've just announced that they're releasing 9S from Nier Automata, and Ubitsu's had their boy body for a long time, but aside from these, and I'm sorry if I missed a few, there really aren't very many anime style boys. So when Smart Doll released AG a few years back, it really shook up the market because it was the first 1/3 scale male doll with an anime kind of face, but in a very macho, muscular body, and it was really exciting. So this Crimson is the same face sculpt as AG, and but in the T skin tone. So it's, yeah, he's just really handsome, and I'll do a close-up for you guys. So here's a close-up of Crimson's face. Let's give you a profile of his nose. And you'll notice he has gray eyes. These are AG's eyes. Usually Crimson comes with red eyes, but I was able to customize him in the workshop. And yeah, you can just check out his physique. So one of the benefits of visiting the Smart Doll store in person, especially if you're on a budget, is that you can do something called a workshop where you build your own Smart Doll. And the cost for this is 39,500 yen, which saves you at least 12,000 yen from buying a full price doll on their website. And I've done this before. That's how I built my T Shitose. I did this a few years ago. And the process now is a lot simpler. There's fewer bits to put together, but if you're going to do this, you should still set aside about an hour and a half. So when I went, I introduced myself, said hi, and said I wanted to build a Crimson doll. And the staff that was working there, he pulled out several bags of bits for me. So the head, two bags that had the frame and the vinyl shells, and I got to select which wig I wanted. So I could have chosen AG's wig or Crimson's wig. If I really wanted to, I guess I could have chosen one of the girls' wigs. And also I could choose the eyes that I wanted. And again, if I wanted the girl's eyes, I could have done that. If I wanted the boy's eyes, I could have done that as well. And with the boys, there's also a choice of this is called the macho body or the slim body, which has, so the slim has a slimmer chest and the arms are not as bulky up top. And so again, you can customize what you would want. So I brought out my Mirai frame just to demonstrate a few things. With the new workshop bits, the lower torso and the hips and the upper thighs are already pre-assembled for you, thank goodness, because it's really difficult to get this into the frame. The feet are already inserted into the frame as well, because that was one of the most troublesome bits when I did Shitose. And the reason that it's done for you is because this little pluggy where the telescopic stand goes in, you kind of need a specialized tool for that. It's not something that I can easily just do on the fly with a little bit of instruction. So that's nice. You do need to get the calves and the arms on, and it was actually a little bit frustrating because the crimson, or the male shell, it's bigger than the girls, obviously, like the muscle and everything. So it's looser on a frame that's the same size. So let me just grab, oh, excuse me. Let me just grab a bust to show you what I'm talking about. So this is one of the girl busts. And if I compare this in the back here to crimson, you can see it's a little more slender, and it's not as, I guess up here in the shoulder, it's not as wide here. This is a much wider shoulder hole. And so it was more difficult to manipulate the frame into these pieces. So I mean, you know, I'm sure the staff are laughing at me because they do this all the time. But for me, having to try to line up, excuse me, I'm gonna pull this arm out, trying to line this hole up in the vinyl chest and get this peg in, it felt almost like this peg was too short. It was really frustrating. It took me a long time. Something else that took me a long time to get was this arm. One of them really just did not want to go into the bicep, and it could be just because it's so loose that in the frame that it's hard to just line up and get in into alignment so that you can push it all together. And even just the frame itself, everything is really tight fitting, so you really need to get everything aligned so that you can just, you know, it doesn't just like click together like Lego. You have to work at it. So it honestly took me about an hour. So if you're going to build a workshop doll, do know that you need to save yourself an hour of time, if not more, to build everything. Now, something else I want to mention is that when you're building a workshop doll, you really can customize. You can choose the wig you want, you can choose the eyes you want. So with the girls, that means you can choose whatever hair you like, and all the eyes are available for you. You could even, so if I wanted to, I could have put Mirai's eyes or Melody's eyes inside of his head. It would have looked really strange, but I could have done it. And also with the boys, you can, and the girls as well, you can choose their bust. So with the girls, there's a small, medium, and large. With the boys, this is the macho sculpt, but you could also choose the slender build, which has skinnier upper arms and the chest is not as defined. But really that's the only difference. The boys don't have as many options. One thing I wanted to mention is that the foot, so AG's foot, okay, we're gonna talk about feet now. This is a milk colored girl's foot. We're gonna put them side by, actually here, let's do same size feet. So they're actually quite similar in size. And this actually surprised me because I thought he would need SD17 size shoes. And when I brought him home, I was quite surprised. Oh, let's put this over here. I was quite surprised. He probably would fit best in SD13 shoes, just because SD17 shoes, I have a pair here, they would just look like clown shoes on him. So these are by Leak, and these fit my SDGOU guy. But like, look at that, that's ridiculous. So yeah, SD13 would probably be the best shoe size for him. So when you build the workshop doll, you get the shopping bag, you get your doll, you get this like plastic carrying storage bag to put the doll in, because you may not want to travel with the doll as is. And one of the benefits is that you really can customize it. You choose the head you want. So for, let's say I was building one of the girls, if I wanted specifically, let's say Journey, but I wanted a different wig and I wanted different eyes, I would have that choice. And so that saves you money, because if you were buying one of his stock models and you wanted to change the wig, you'd have to buy the wig separately. So doing the workshop doll, you can choose the eyes, the wig, and the bust size, which is a nice option, because generally the smart dolls come with the small bust. With the boys, there's only two options. So this is the macho build. And there's also a slender build, which is the chest is a little slimmer and the upper arms are slimmer. So it gives you a little bit of choice to build the workshop doll. But one thing that I should mention is that the workshop doll pieces are, well, let's say everything in the general production run is S grade. The pieces in the workshop would be A grade. So they're not perfect. And anything that would be B and C grade, they put in a junk pile and it gets sold at an outlet sale at some point, like the one I was at last week. But the B and C grade stuff doesn't make it into the workshop dolls. When I'm just looking at Crimson, like there's no visible flaws. He's quite perfect as far as I'm concerned. But it's just something that I want to mention, that, you know, his pieces are not S grade, which is what would generally make it in the production line. That's not to say that he is defective in any way. Like, he still has a 1-year warranty, and he also has that quality control card on the inside that all the new Smart Dolls have. If you watch my Kanata video, you'll know what I'm talking about. So I did forget to mention, he does come with a telescopic stand. This comes with all Smart Dolls, and this is just an additional support that plugs into the hole in the back. So if you're out and about taking photos, it just helps with balance. And one tip that I've learned with these telescopic stands, if you fully extend it, you see how it's a little bit thicker here, but more narrow down here? Push the narrow part up so that this, the piece that's extended is wider, and that gives you more stability, and you're less likely to break the telescopic stand by accident. But this is color matched to your doll, so notice the plastic piece up here is the same color. It's the tea color to match your doll. And what else? So I picked up, I wasn't asked to buy any of the hand pieces for him, so I don't have any of the hand poses to show you, but I did grab this at the outlet sale, and I'm just going to do a close-up of this because it's actually really interesting. So I wanted to show this hand piece because it's quite fascinating. Contrary to popular belief, Smart Dolls are not 3D printed, or, well, that's not completely true. The original prototypes are 3D printed, but then a master mold is made in metal, and liquid vinyl is poured into the mold. You can see this, like, it's got pour marks here where the liquid is poured in, and it's sloshed around to coat the inside, and then it cures, and then this piece is pulled out. But you see it's squishy, it's not hard plastic, and the extra vinyl would be cut away here, and then you would have the handpiece for the doll. And all the other components of the body shell are made in a similar way, where it's poured, cast, and then excess flash is cut away. But I just thought this was kind of interesting because you can actually see how it's poured into the mold. So I hope you enjoyed me chatting about Crimson today. He really is a handsome fellow, and I know my friend is going to be thrilled to own him when she comes and picks him up. But what else? When I was at the Smart Doll store, Danny was very gracious. He invited me into the garage behind the scenes to see a few things that he's got cooking. So he's already teased this on Facebook, but Cocoa Body in the boy body is in the works. It looks great. It'll be ready when it's ready, though. I also saw one of the Cortex dolls, which is that click-together kit version of the Smart Doll. And it's actually heavier than I thought, like in terms of weight, because of the material, because of the plastic that's used. But it's stain-proof, which will be really awesome. And what else? September 25th, new doll is going to be hitting the website. I think it's Trinity, if you're interested in her. Get in front of the computer when she launches, because otherwise you're going to be waiting for a while before she ships. Oh, yeah, that's really all I have to chat about right now, but thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time, and yeah, see you soon. Come and help you, but for the most part, this is DIY. And it took me roughly about an hour, even having done this before. And I'll explain, a few things that were a little bit frustrating for me. I have done this before. Oh, hi, Spooky. Are you visiting? How are you? That's a Spooky, everybody. You don't see her very often. Oh, look, Chloe. Are you being friends with my dollies? Can I help you?